Hello, welcome to my channel or welcome back. My name is Alyssa and today I have an ins and outs of items with my makeup collection. So if you want to know what is leaving and a couple things that have come in, then please keep watching. Alright, so first we're going to go ahead and talk about items that are leaving my collection for different reasons. And I will say that there might be other things that I have forgotten about to update you on, but I think in general, this is everything. So, let's say you notice something is missing in an inventory video or something later, you can always, ask me about it and be like, hey, what happened to that one lip liner or something? And then, oh, did I forget to update you guys on that? But I have not finished any lip liners yet. Hopefully soon. It is in a project going on. Oh my gosh. Oh, okay, hold on. All right, well, we're gonna go ahead and talk about this guy first. So this is a mini, or it was a mini, from Pharmacy. It's their cleansing balm, the Green Clean. So I actually have used this before, and my memory from before was that it was fine. It's just more expensive than I would normally pay. And this came in a set of minis. I was partially interested in this, and then what else was in it? I don't know. You know what's kind of funny though? So I was partially interested in this, and I'm going to get into why I'm not anymore. I was also interested in the moisturizer that was in there because I thought it was the same moisturizer thing I'd used, I think it's in the same line of skincare, but I don't think I've used that before. And the moisturizer was more I don't know, I think it was causing breakouts potentially. It was definitely not moisturizing my skin. It was making it, if anything, more dry. So it was not a pleasant experience. And the honey smell that it has, it's like a sickly sweet smell. So it smells like it's going off, even though it's not, it's just the smell. So yeah, I would not recommend that. But I mean, I guess it's one of those, let's say you've used that and you love the Pharmacy brand things, maybe you should not then use whatever I say I like, because maybe we just have different skin types and preferences, and so there you go. Sometimes I like to kind of think of things like that. If I know that someone likes something that I like, or they like something I don't like, then it's like, okay, you can like it, and then I just know I won't take your opinion on that I should go buy that product. It works with makeup, works with skincare, that kind of thing. Anyway, the cleansing balm, not only did I feel like it did not work as well as the normal one I use, which is the vanilla brand. I don't like scented products. I guess for lips, yes, but not for anything else. Even my body, it sort of depends. My body can be very sensitive. There's a cocoa butter lotion that I use that I think is okay, but honestly, I don't know if I need to start switching that as well. So yeah, this, like I said, didn't seem to work well. I feel like I had to use more of it than I do of my other cleansing balm, but I will keep the container and wash it out and all, because then it's a nice little travel size, and I'll just put the cleansing balm, I like to sort of decant when I travel and put some in, and then it's like, okay, this is my cleansing balm, even if it's not this brand, and it's kind of already labeled for me. Okay, another precarious item in my little bowl here. This eyeshadow is not finished. Okay, this was from Colored Rain, the Vivid Pigments palette, and I had picked this as the next eyeshadow I was working on in my Pan That Rainbow in Order, or Pan the Rainbow in Order. I keep going back and forth on that and I don't know what I've settled on. So, Pan That the Rainbow. So this was supposed to be the orange. I used it, let me see how many times. So I used it 5 times before deciding that each of the times I was using it, it wasn't always really layering that well. It would kind of fade away. It wasn't doing what it should. And I have shadows that are almost identical to this, or maybe identical. I didn't really go through and bother being that careful about it, but I know I have things that are similar. And so to me, it's not worth keeping an eyeshadow that's not performing how it should. It's one thing if there's an eyeshadow where it's like, I don't really like that color that much, but there might be that one time that I want to use that color. This is like, no, I have things that are similar to this color and it's not a good formula anymore, maybe. I feel like at one point it was fine, but this is getting old, and so it's fine. I moved on to a different orange eyeshadow from the same palette, and so far that one is working well. I actually have it on today, so you know, it's just going to take me a lot longer to hit pan on that one because this one already had some little dents going, so oh well. I have some nail polishes here. Wait, that one okay. There's a chance that I have talked about one or two of these before. No, that one I definitely have, so that one should be out. I'm going to take that one out. But if I've talked about some, I'm sorry. I'll try to make it fast. This is one of the oldest ones I had in my collection, and basically it's just gotten very goopy, and I have added thinner, and it's fun, but it's also just really hard to get any out. There's very little that's left. Like I can kind of see it on the one side here because it was laying down, but yeah, I'm going to still hold on to the bottle though, because I'm thinking about, like, this was one where I'm like, did I talk about this one? This was another one that I did add thinner and it still wasn't working. So like the pink, it's more like it's basically an empty or close to it. This purple one, I'm gonna try to like mix some of these, I feel like, just to see what happens. Like if I pour whatever I can into the different ones and see what happens. I was going to do that with this one, which is another one that I think I talked about being an empty. This one I can't even open anymore. So that one's just gonna go in the trash, and that's fine. It was always hard to open, but now I can't at all. So those are some nail polishes that are leaving my collection, which is good because I did bring in a couple more, so we'll get to that. Okay, I have 3 more makeup items to talk about that are outs. So the first is this mascara from Revolution Beauty, or whatever they call themselves these days. So it's the Wrap Lash, and I have friends on here that really love this mascara, but it does not work well for me. I feel like, I don't know, it's almost too wet and doesn't really, but then it got dry. I don't know, it never did. Like, I feel like occasionally it was fine, but it was not giving me the lashes I wanted. And this is expensive for me. It's, you know, drugstore, but it's $12. And if I'm going to be throwing it out every few months, $12 is a lot of money for me to just be throwing out and not love it. So instead I've gone back. I'm not wearing it today because I don't wear mascara every day, but I have a different one, my number 7 mascara, the brand number 7. Their tubing mascara has been my favorite for, I guess, years now. And that one is around $10. So that's one that I would say I love as much as I would love a mascara. And I'd rather, you know, than do that. Like, it's cheaper than this and I like it way more. Now, I have been kind of considering going back and trying the Essence mascaras, but I do like tubing mascaras in general because I like that, like, when my eyes are watering, I don't have to worry that I'm getting the mascara everywhere. So I don't know if I want to do that or not. They are cheaper, so there's that. And I haven't tried them for a while, so maybe I would like how they work. I don't know. So it would be really cool if they had a tubing mascara that was that price, but I don't think they do. Another item that is going in the trash is, I talked about this in my inventory video. So this ColourPop blush, so it's in the shade Angel Face. I was going to try to use it 100 times this year and then maybe declutter it or so, but the formula has changed. It's gotten thicker, and it's it was always a bit patchy or tricky to use, but I feel like it's gotten patchier and it fades away kind of. It's not even just that it fades away unevenly in a patchy way. And so that's really frustrating because like the blush I'm wearing right now, this will often fade like later in the day. Like I'm like maybe, you know, touching my face or doing whatever and it just fades, but it's a little bit more of a natural sort of thing. And even if it's not perfect, it's also old. This I just got last year, gifted. I don't know how old it had been for the person who passed it along to me. You know, I mean, it hadn't been opened or anything yet, so there's that, but you know, it's a liquid blush. So, you know, and I never loved it, so I am fine to say goodbye. Like, I have no sadness at all about it. And it also kind of goes to show, like, so when I see people talking about liquid blushes, I know not to just consider it at all. You know, like whatever they're saying about it is not for me. I am not a liquid blush fan. The last makeup out to talk about is this loose pigment sample that I had from when I got my Pixie Epoxy, which is the eye primer from Firenze. I think it's Firenze. I feel like that's what people say, but then I'm like, why isn't it Firenze? But I don't know. But this was in Sekhmet's Kohl, if I'm saying that correctly. I'm not sure. But it was really pretty. You really can't. I was gonna be like, oh, maybe you can see like a little bit of but there's like hardly anything left in here. Like a little bit is left on the sides. But yeah, this was really pretty. It's very shifty, and it was shiny, not like the shiniest eyeshadow ever, but it was still shiny enough. And the colors were really pretty. It was sort of like between a purple green type of thing, like a jade green. But I will say, or maybe more of an emerald even, I don't know. It's a dark base to it, and so I had to kind of keep that in mind when I was using it, you know, like have something underneath. Otherwise, you know, it's not going to go on as nicely, or it'll look a little bit smoky, and, you know, it also has a loose pigment, so it kind of requires a little bit more, like to have a sticky primer and like to pick it up and then to have it on the eye and all that. So I did finish it, and that was a goal that I had for this year, so yay. And I only have 3 loose pigments left, so they're going to be with me though for a long time, because those were not samples. Now if we're talking about makeup that has come in, some of this you might be aware of because you've been watching other things that I've, you know, posted on here, or I've talked about on Instagram, things like that. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and talk about first the mascara that I was just saying is my favorite. So this is the number 7 Stay Perfect. So I had it coming, gosh, I don't know, I've had it for a bit, and I just waited to open it until I was done with the Revolution one. And so, you know, this is the mascara I will be using for the next few months, and we'll see if I decide to buy another one or, you know, try something cheaper. But this is kind of my fallback plan mascara that I pretty much like it all the time. All right, we're gonna go ahead and talk about what might be one of my new favorite palettes that I own, the Crystallized palette from Bella Beauty Bar. So this one I am working on getting all the eyeshadows used 5 times each before I take it out of my makeup bag. I mean, I might still keep it in my makeup bag, but I want to at least do the 5 times. So today I actually have on, let's see, these 2 eyeshadows. So I have this one in the middle with a little bit of this one, so that's kind of the glowy purple part. And I love this eyeshadow palette. It's really good. I will give maybe more of a thorough type of review after I've used it more, because it's the first time I've used a Bella Beauty Bar palette or owned one or anything. I will say what's interesting to me about the shimmers in this one, at least, is that they almost feel like they have a bit of primer with them. Like they're almost sticky-ish. Like they just kind of feel like they cling. But then they do come off. Like it's like they cling and then they cling onto my eye. And so I feel like there's not as much fallout as with some other eyeshadows from other brands that are kind of like similar textures and things like that. So that's kind of cool. Like I feel like I don't need to use a glitter primer. Like I'll use my, I've been using my Firenze epoxy that I talked about. I've been using that way more, and I really like it with this palette because I feel like it has a hold, but it's not this like thick thing. Like the NYX glitter primer is much of a more of a thicker type of primer, and so yeah, like these don't need it. Like they do kind of naturally want to cling on. So yeah, and I like them with the brush, and I also like using the fingers. Sometimes I'll just do both. But yeah, I'm definitely a fan of this and happy to have it. All right, and the final 2 makeup ins, at least that I can think of, because like I said, sometimes I forget what I've talked about or not talked about, are these 2 nail polishes that just came to me yesterday, actually. So this one I haven't had a chance to use yet because it wouldn't have worked well with this one, and so, you know, I'll get into that. But I did test the thermal nature of it because it is a thermal polish, and so it becomes more of a pale type of color when it's warm. And actually, which I just realized, is that? Yeah, I guess they usually are. Yeah, okay, that is the normal way the thermals go, so it's fine. But I like both kind of forms of it from what I can tell. Like I said, I haven't actually put on my nails yet because I just got it. So, you know, this is one where I would want to wear it like on its own because it's got like flakies in it and it's kind of color shifty, I feel like, even without the thermal nature of it. But anyway, it's called Oops, I Bought Polish Again. And again, this is that brand that I'm not sure how they pronounce it. If it's Caloris de Carol or I'm not sure. But yeah, I got this. I was making up a little cart from What's Up Beauty. Basically, my parents had gotten me some nail product things, which I do have. So I guess that's other new stuff that I have. They got me the palette as well. But they got me like, there's some brushes and dotting tools, and there were like these other little nail kit things. But then so that stuff I kept. But then they had also gotten me a bunch of stuff for like fake nails, and I have no interest in doing fake nails. So that stuff I returned, and I used that money to then get these things. And so I was like, okay, you want to have me do more nail art type things. I've been interested in doing stamping with nail polish. So I got a nail plate, I got the stamper and the little scraper thing that, and then I figured I would get one stamping nail polish and then also just use my own nail polishes and see. Like, I wanted to kind of give stamping the best shot I could. So I figure if I have a stamping nail polish, you know, and if that doesn't work for me, then, you know, okay, I don't know. But, you know, if I was using a regular nail polish and then it didn't work, it's like, well, is it the nail polish or is it me or the plate or something? But anyway, so this is a stamping nail polish and it's just a silver. So I used it last night over the nail polish I had along with a black nail polish that I have. So that's not a stamping one. Let's see, so if you can kind of see that I was kind of playing. And so it was, you know, there's a learning curve with it, but it was actually really fun. And part of the reason that it's a little chaotic looking on my nails is because I couldn't stop. Because I just want to keep going. So yeah, I am excited to do more with that. And I will be excited to try this one out. Well, you can see, like, so I had like this green nail polish and all underneath. And so it worked to put the silver and black and all on top and do stamping, but it would have been weird to do this and it wouldn't have really matched. I'm like, it's fine. This will probably be my next manicure that I'll use this and, you know, test it out. So those are the ins that I wanted to make sure I talked about and the outs. And, you know, these videos, some people do them every month, but I don't have necessarily empties every month. It just sort of depends. I have also used up some eyeshadows, but I talk about that in the different projects that they're in, like my Pan That palette. As I finish those, they're talked about in there. I don't really talk about it here. I mean, I guess I could, but anyway. I want to thank you for watching this video. If you haven't subscribed, maybe you will do so. I am trying to hit 500 by the end of this year. And until my next video, I hope you'll be doing well, and I'll see you then. Bye!